Hey guys, Salt and Prepper here. I'm just going to be doing a quick review, on this Truglo red dot sight. So let's take it out to the range, see how it does. Here it is on the rifle. I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but let's see how it holds up at the range. So we came down to take a look. Obviously it's a very windy day today. I got one flyer up here, but we're gonna make some adjustments here. Now, when you're adjusting on something like a red dot or even regular scope, you want to make generous adjustments, especially if you don't know exactly what this distance is. It's nice to have the targets that have the actual clicks or distance between them, but I'm just using a nice man-shaped target here. So let's say we're gonna go. Our windage is better. Probably let's say 3 clicks right, and probably about 6 clicks down, and then see where we end up on our next group. Get our second group. Okay. We're up here. This wasn't a great group. Second one wasn't either. What I have noticed is I'm using the one reticle style I'll show you. It is the circle, 4-segment circle with a dot inside. It's very hard to overlay that on this target. So what I do at my next adjustments, what I'm going to do is just use the red dot itself and then go from there. I've been trying to line up the reticle on this to varying degrees of success. Obviously we're a little bit closer. I'm going to make a couple more adjustments. Looks like I'm going to go about probably 2 clicks right and 4 clicks down and see where we end up. Alright guys, so we're working on our final group here, trying to zero this in. This is the Truglo 34 by 24 red dot. It's a reflex sight. It's open reticle, which I do like. There's 4 different reticle options. But for this I'm using just the dot itself to zero, because with the other reticle options it's harder to actually see the target that I'm aiming at as far as zeroing, but I would use those in more of a tactical situation. But this is to get my zero correct. I think it's a 5 MOA dot, so at 36 yards that dot probably covers about a 3-inch group or so. So it's kind of hard to get precise. There is a crosshair one that you can use that's a little bit closer. I think it's 2 or 3 MOA. But I'm gonna use this one and see where we end up at. And for those of you that want to criticize my hold on the gun, I'm using more of a standard sniper hold, so my zeros are correct. And also it sucks shooting this gun left-handed, so. We're gonna put probably about 5 down, see where we end up at. It does seem to hop a little bit, but I think that's more recoil than anything. Okay. Switch on this. Guys, last group with a 5 MOA dot. Totally fine with this. Little flyer here, shit happens. But for $89.99 for this sight, that's 5 MOA. That's good. I mean, this is all maybe 2 inches, 1 3/4 inch spread. It's good for me. Hey guys, Salt and Prepper here again. So I've been working on my review of this Truglo sight, and it's the red dot, open red dot series multi-reticle dual color, which means it comes in green and red. It's a 34 by 24 millimeter objective lens. I tried to pick up what the reticles look like in the actual video through the lens, but the way the camera works, it just shows a big green blob. Okay, I use green instead of red because green shows up better on the day, and I'm shooting the video during the daytime. You guys can use whatever preference you like. So here's the different reticle options, okay? These are about what it looks like size-wise when you look into the you know, the optic. You have your 20 MOA peep sight, which is sort of your reflex sight. This whole thing is essentially a reflex sight. You have your standard crosshair, which is a normal, you know, scope reticle, but it does have a 2 MOA dot, which is about as accurate as it's going to get for, you know, a relatively inexpensive sight. But I'll talk about these drawbacks in a little while. You have the 6 MOA center dot, which is basically a 4-section circle with a 6 MOA dot in the middle, and then you just have a plain dot, which would be like your standard red dot sight. So that's 5 MOA. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the things I liked about it, some of the things I didn't. When I first started shooting the video, we were out at the range, and I was having some issues with accuracy. First thing to note is I'm using M193 ammo, which is mil spec. I'm not using the 855, which is your 62 grain. I'm using your 55 grain. Also shooting out of a 1.7 barrel. 1.7 barrel can stabilize the 855. I just prefer the 193. Okay, so I'm going to have some of that other stuff attached in there, but I want to show you what I did. I went to the outdoor range, but it was a super windy day. It was like 25 to 30 mile an hour winds, which was making it really hard for me to accurately depict where my zero was. And I was getting, you know, closer. Obviously, I started out a little farther, zeroing in, zeroing and zeroing. Seemed to hold okay. So what I did was I followed up by going to an indoor range so I could have more control conditions. As far as the sight itself goes, pretty standard here. I have it mounted where it is because I want to have my backup sights here, my irons, right? You can co-witness with them. I prefer to have the offset sights that you can't the rifle, okay? One thing I do like about this optic, open. See, it's open. It's not a tubular design where you have to look through it. This encourages you to keep both eyes open while shooting, but also, not only that, it allows you to have your peripheral vision, which is very important when you're in a, you know, sort of a tactical situation. Adjustments are very, very simple. You just got your up and you got your windage here. So you got your elevation on top and you got your windage on the side here. Basically your beam, there's a little beam that comes out of here and projects onto this glass here. You have 5 different levels of brightness, and that's for green or red. Also, you have your selector here on the back, right here, which allows you to select which type of reticle you like to use. When I did the zeroing process, I used only the dot because the issue with sighting in, I sight at 36 yards. I'll put a link in the description as to why I use 36 yards. The main reason is with a 36 yard zero, with 193 ammo, okay, ball ammo, specifically just for that load, at 36 yard zero, your point of aim, point of impact, out to 300 yards is going to be within a 5-inch spread. Pretty simple. You don't have to think about holds, anything else like that. Let's say you're in closer ranges, you're just going to aim a little bit higher because your sight is here and your barrel is here. Other than that, center mass, point of aim, point of impact, it's not a big deal. We're not trying to, you know, take the wings off of a you know, a bumblebee, like, you know, guys would tell you, your old vets and whatnot. Love my vets, by the way. Thank you for your service. Okay, so I showed the previous targets, but I'm going to show you what I did on the indoor range. So, got indoors, things changed up a little bit. As you can see, my first target doesn't look so great. Not terrible. Not terrible by any means. And this is, I mean, okay, I got a flyer over here. I mean, you're still hitting the person, but this is at 36 yards. So we progressed. This group looks a lot better. Made a couple adjustments. A couple more adjustments. This is pretty damn good. Okay. You got one flyer here. That's me. I'm not the best shooter in the world. About average. We're right here. Throw zone. Did a full group. A little bit high. Shot some extra rounds. See where we were at. This grouping is a lot better. So now from this I can tell that I have to move down a little bit. I'm not sure if the sight is shifting. What's going on here? Got a couple on center here. This was a bad group. I don't want to look at it. And then our last group. Where's our last group at? Last group is right here. Totally fine with that. I'm not going to make any more adjustments. I mean, this is a tiny group when you're talking about a sight that is 5 MOA. So 5 MOA is basically 5 inches at 100 yards, okay? So at 36 yards, 2.5, 3 inches or so. But if you overlay this on, I mean, this is a tiny group. So not bad. Overall, would I use this sight as sort of a be-all, end-all in a, you know, tactical situation? I don't know. I'd have to try it out a little bit more, see how long it holds a zero for, see how much abuse it can take. I only had it at the range twice, so I'll do a follow-up on this. Battery power, obviously an issue. You got to have batteries for you. I'm not sure how long this one lasts, but it seems to me from what I've read that it's a pretty good amount of time. But the sight itself did come with a battery in it, and it was already dead because it was left on, apparently. Another thing I do like about this is it comes with this nifty little cover here that goes over the top, covers the sight, you know. Kind of like your rifle scope cover, but I would keep this. I do have to paint it though to match, because you know, a black sight on a Camel rifle is just stupid. So things I don't like about it, I would say that it does sort of reflect and sort of almost give you that effect of sort of like if you've ever been in a pool for too long and you got a lot of chlorine in your eyes, you sort of get that like spread. That's kind of what the reticle looks like sometimes, especially if you've turned up the brightness too high. So you want to keep it on the lowest brightness setting that you have, which is what you should do anyway. I kept it at like 2 when I was zeroing it because that was about what I was comfortable with. As far as other things I don't like, you have to have the specific Allen wrench for this. I happen to have it. It's pretty standard for scopes, but it was not on my standard Allen wrench set that I have. Another weird feature, this is where the battery comes out. So you actually have to hold this adjuster knob in place while you turn this off. It's kind of weird. I don't understand why they did it that way. Other than that, price on this was $89.99 at Cabela's. So you're talking about after tax, almost about $100. Is it a Neotech? No. Is it an Aimpoint? No. Would I rely on it for hunting? I think it would be pretty damn good. If it holds zero, after bringing it to the range a bunch of times, I think I have about 220 rounds through it. If it holds zero on that, I'm okay with it. Sure, I'd like to, you know, have a better sight on here for tactical situations, SHTF, whatever. But if you're looking for a budget optic, this is pretty good. So you have the open feature, you don't have the tube design, so you can have your awareness as you're looking around. You have a bunch of different brightness settings, you have 2 different colors. So overall, I think it's pretty solid. I think it's right for where the price point is. You could certainly do a lot worse, you could do a lot better, but that's where you're looking at money. But overall, I think it's solid. If I was to rate it against your EOTech, let's say EOTech and Aimpoint are a 10, and your Walmart Bushnell is like a 1. I give this a 5. So for $100, 5's not bad. You definitely want to have iron sights to back this up. You should have iron sights to back up any optic, because if the battery goes out or the glass breaks or anything like that happens, you're in trouble. So overall, pretty solid for the price. Wouldn't count on it for my life unless I had more experience with it. Like I said, about 220 rounds or so, but not bad. So you can pick that up at Cabela's, you can order online, but you definitely want to get some iron sights. When it comes to iron sights, spend the extra money. There is no sense in getting cheap iron sights when you can spend a little more to get good iron sights, okay? Another quick comment I want to make, PMags versus regular milcert mags or Colt mags, whatever you want to call them, I don't like these. PMags for 2 reasons. The main reason is they don't feed reliably. I have issues with these. Second reason, they're actually harder to load into the magazine, okay? After I painted this, very hard to get in. I understand it's, it's paint, it's got a little extra layer on it. Even before that, it wasn't feeding the way that I wanted it to. Also, even though these are polymer or plastic, whatever you want to call them, they're actually heavier than these magazines. And the other thing, they're more expensive. Stick with these guys. And one last thing, these don't work in certain guns and certain makes, so stick with these. Leave any questions, comments, likes, dislikes, anything below. I'll try to respond to as much as I can. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. Anytime I get to get out to the range and shoot is a good day for me. Salt and Pepper out.